everyone, it's Morgan and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to show you guys all of the things that I've created during an entire semester at college, which means all of fall and all of spring. This video was meant to follow my last one, which was a studio tour of my brand new space. If you haven't seen that one, please check it out. And I also wanted to say that this is going to be part one of a two-part video little mini-series, because I don't think I'm going to have enough time in one video to cover everything here that we see, and in addition all of the larger pieces, the big paintings and all that fun stuff, so I was going to save that one for another video, especially because it wouldn't even fit under this camera setup, so I figured that would be part two, so definitely stick around and keep an eye out for that one. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so starting off we have some color swatches, and this is actually probably one of the oldest pieces that I have. This was done, honestly, during the first week of fall semester. This was for a painting class. It was an elective, but I didn't even know it was an elective until like halfway through the year. So this was only done using, this one is two colors, this little stretch up here, and then this one is three. This one was only using yellow ochre and then permanent black, and it was obviously just different increments of black, adding little bits until it was changing shade and trying to differentiate between 6 different shades without them being the same shade. And then the rows down here were using yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and permanent black. And then down here was adding a little bit of white to that. So it was just this row plus some white. Alright, and then moving on to this class. This was actually from the same painting class. It was my painting elective. These were more color exercises. So it was all on the same homework assignment. And it was basically taking inspiration from famous paintings and trying to pull different important colors off of that. I think it was supposed to be like a 5-color limit, so they all look pretty choppy, but yeah, I think it was just like a general idea. You weren't supposed to spend more than like 15 or 20 minutes per piece. There was a bunch of them. This homework assignment took me forever, I remember that one. Some of them are clearly more detailed than others. These are all done using acrylic paint. It was just some regular paper because, like I said, it was a homework assignment, not a project or anything. So that's why they dried all curly. My own fault, but I knew this was going to happen. They weren't crazy significant pieces to me anyway. It was definitely a fun assignment. It was something new to me. It was good exercise to try out. But like I said, my goodness, was it time consuming for this result. No hate on it, but these aren't masterpieces or anything, but I spent hours on them. Then after those little ones, there were supposed to be 3 big ones. I think this one goes sideways. Goodness, it's been a long time. This one as well. My apologies for the reflectiveness. We can blame acrylic paint for that. And then this one, I think this one might have been separate because I definitely spent a little bit more time on this one. This was by far my favorite one. And then finally from that same class I have these two. I think these two were definitely done together in the same homework assignment. Maybe these two were with that third one, the candlestick. This was my couch upstairs. It's just a picture of that I took. It was, like I said, another homework assignment, so something quick. Oh, I remember a significant detail. I didn't explain why this looks so choppy, or the other two beforehand. This was only done using a palette knife. I'm just remembering this now. That makes so much more sense. So back to these two. And then this was a table. This is actually in the room next to me. It's still downstairs in the basement. This was my old kitchen table from my old house. Then I have these two. These were also from the fall semester. Different class though. This was a origami paper, yes. It was cut out origami paper. We were just supposed to make random designs with it. I think we began with like, everyone in the class had like 4 stripes and maybe a couple triangles or something like that, and then we're supposed to make like 3 organic shapes of the same color and then 4 organic shapes of the same color. But then the homework assignment, this was the class period, the homework assignment was to do the same thing but with acrylic paint. So this is the exact same design clearly, but painted a little bit later. This one was a lot of fun. Next piece I have is something that I was very proud of. This is jumping forward a little bit. This was in my spring semester. I had my second half of my drawing class. I had a drawing class both semesters, but this was my second half. This is just a random piece of cardboard. It's just a flap off of like an Amazon box or something. This was all done using only charcoal. These two, the lip color and the eyebrow color, were just 2 shades of brown charcoal that I had, but everything else is very minimal amounts of black charcoal and white charcoal. Now we'll be moving on to my final stack. This is definitely just a bunch of random stuff. We're going straight for it. This this cutout, it was cardboard cat beds that I made. I only have 2 remaining because my cats chewed up the biggest one, but this was just a template that I was tracing onto the cardboard and cutting out. And then I have all these little pieces of paper, various homework assignments, I'm assuming, except for these first few. These ones were planning stages for a project. It had to do with things that we had been doing in the past few days, the past, I believe, 21 days, as well as the future 21 days, things that we planned on doing, things we wanted to get back to. I don't even think I included pomegranates or chilies in the final piece. Then we have these two. These two are very difficult to explain. They're from the same drawing class of the second semester, so we're talking the spring semester. These were things that were supposed to be done in many steps. So we were pulling little prompts that had suggestions that were very vague. For example, like something that's important to you, or put a hole in it, or make a jagged line, or do something surprising. Like just very random things that you were supposed to interpret completely on your own, which is also why the product I cannot explain in the slightest. Then I have these couple little ones. This is the final 3 little pages. These were designs for, I believe, the fall semester, one of those classes. These were designs that I would upload onto my computer and bring into Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop and create designs or patterns with these. I think this one was one of the only ones that I actually ended up using for a thank you card. Could you have guessed that? Oh yes, and then this was the same deal. These ones were for patterns. So we had a whole pattern project, and we made a bunch of different patterns. It was honestly like maybe 6 different patterns that we then put in like 3 different color schemes each. These are really fun. Now we're backtracking a little more. This was from my drawing class from the fall semester. These were random kitchen objects. You're supposed to just gather different objects in your kitchen that were like no more than a foot long or something like that, and then arrange them in some kind of random way and draw from life. But I think there was some kind of requirement for the materials. I'm not really sure. This is charcoal and ink, which definitely would not be my choice for realism. The ink, this is very heavily inked, and you can see a lot of cross-hatching as opposed to traditional like charcoal or graphite shading. But interesting. I think this was a classwork turned homework. Here's another one that I certainly can't explain. I don't even know what class this one was from. This is something to do with collaging. If I had to guess, I would say second semester drawing class. So this was a collage of photos from my phone, I believe, because that's my hair, and this was a pie that I had made, these pieces. That was my rolling pin. Like I said, I can't even remember what the specifics of this were. It was making a collage and then continuing with that and just expanding on it in some way. It was another homework assignment, so it was a vague prompt that was meant to be interpreted in whatever way you wanted to. These two are 2 of my favorites. This was a personality thing from, I believe, a forum class from the first forum class from the fall semester, and this was also from the fall semester. This is from a different one. This is from my pattern class. To be uploaded and used behind different patterns and such. Both of these I had so much fun doing. This one was charcoal and ink, and this one was watercolor and ink. So watercolor in the background and then straight ink above. Okay, these ones are probably the hardest to showcase because they were classwork assignments. I think these 2 little ones might have been, they might have all been classwork. These are all from my first semester drawing class, the fall one. If you can guess, these are all my face, and that's why I don't really want to talk about these ones too much, but they, as much as I don't want to admit, or just have to admit, they helped me a lot. This was very new to me. As you can tell, these 2 were earlier. Then I think it was this one, and this was the final one. There was probably a week worth of time between all of these, except for these 2, they were done together. And it was just very, very new for me, a very messy kind of self-portraiture, while still being somewhat realistic. Like, this is what I look like in the morning, for sure. This is a 8 a.m. class face. And you can see some improvement between them, which makes me happy, because, like I said, this was a very foreign thing to me. But we're getting better. This one is probably one of the few projects that are featured in this pile as opposed to homework. This was the final for my fall semester drawing class. This was a surrealistic piece. So I was kind of playing on traditional surrealism in the back, because you see a lot of exterior, like outdoor landscapes, desert spaces, and then with just strange like juxtaposition of objects that don't belong, things that are very dreamlike, that just don't make a lot of sense. So this is my own little spin on that. Back here is chalk pastels, and then this was just ink on white paper that was cut out and pasted on here, because this is tan paper. Surprise. This one is a homework assignment from spring semester drawing class. This one's gonna be fun to explain. It was a partner assignment actually, so somebody else was doing this same prompt with me. His was very interesting too. It was supposed to be one very extreme event to another one, and then the process of those things, but it like barely makes sense. So we wanted to go from eating food, just like eating regular food, to being eaten by a cannibal. Yeah, that took a turn. So for me, I was playing on the color mostly. I was showing the progression of this red color through these sequence of events. We start with a plate of fries, all you have is some ketchup in the middle, just a little bit of red. Then we move on to a plate of meatballs. The marinara sauce is very red, very liquidy covered. And then finally, I kept it on a circle just to kind of mimic the plate that was going on, but then we have a handprint, someone asking for help. This is supposed to be interpreted as blood as opposed to ketchup or marinara sauce. And we also, if you notice, the thumb is missing from the handprint, so we have some grim themes going on in the background. This is another collage that I just can't explain in the slightest. I'm not even gonna try. It was from a bunch of random magazines that were definitely really old too. I'm not gonna go for it, just go ahead and take a peek for a little. Okay, and then my final two pieces. These are in the back because these are pieces of cardboard. Again, just random pieces that were chopped off of boxes. These are two paintings. These were from the painting elective from fall semester. It was this time shades as opposed to color schemes and color mimicking whatnot. So just using white and black and finding all the shades of gray that you can create from that and trying to display as much depth as possible. Can you tell which one I did first? Which one I put more effort into? I feel bad. This one had potential, it really did. The photo that I was using was not a bad picture, but I definitely went way heavier in on this one and then realized that I had spent hours on this one and it was probably like 2 a.m. and this was due or whatever. Very sorry to this lamp picture, but I had a lot of fun doing the can picture, and then the last thing that was sitting on top of that was just the planning for this one. Each one of them had a different plan, so the can picture was a full scale range from white to black, and then this one was only from white to like a mid-tone range, so we don't see any black, we don't see any dark gray. And I think that also is why I lost some of that emphasis, some of that punch in there. Sorry, lamp. Hi, me again. This is Upstairs Morgan coming at you. This was the project that had to do with the future and the past, so the past 21 days and then the future 21 days. This was for the spring semester drawing class, and I wanted to quickly go through this because we saw the planning for it and never the final. So most of this was very simple. A lot of it was done with ink. There was gel pen throughout, a lot of graphite, some charcoal. These were the activities that were done previously over here. This was supposed to be like a time sequence page, like showing that the time was passing, so we're moving on to the future events. This is clearly something that doesn't belong in here, just some planning paper. Sorry. And then this was the future ones. Like I said, very simple. This was an extended project, so this was over the course of a couple weeks. It had a lot of planning to do with it, a lot of critique, and a lot of revisiting and revising. So yes, thank you for joining me with my shaky hand camera and viewing the real final piece. Yeah. Alright everyone, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your views and activity and all of that, especially since my return. Keep an eye out for part 2. This one will be coming soon as well. And I wanted to thank you one more time because it really just means so much to me, especially those of you that I've been seeing for amounts of years. I appreciate that so much. It's nice to see you and to continue seeing you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!